Hi everyone! I'm back with another Too Many Cards video with Emily Leapart. Today we're featuring stamps from Evelin T Designs. Yay! We are working with the adorable Reading Buddies and Coffee Loving Critters stamp sets, and I love these sweet critters. I started by stamping all of my images. I use Strathmore mixed media vellum surface paper when I use my zig markers. Zig markers are my favorite way to color images currently, and that paper is the one I found works best for me, but I would suggest testing out other papers if you don't like that one, because it's all about the paper and preference with the zig markers. As always, I sprayed a little bit of water on my craft mat and used my dry water brush. I just dipped it, got the tip wet, wiped it off on the paper, and then spread the color around, and then wiped off the color that was on my water brush onto the paper towel, and that's how I blend out the colors. Once it dries a little bit, the image that is, once the image dries a little bit, I go in with usually the same colors, sometimes a darker shade, and then I just do the whole process again just to add the little bit of shading. I love this little bear with his stack of books, and I could not resist coloring these books in rainbow order. So that's happening. I colored the pages of the book with a light gray just to add a little bit of color, and it was pretty simple coloring. I did add some shading for his cheeks because I can't resist adding pink cheeks to little critters. And that pretty much sums up my coloring for this little guy. So I just have to say, can we have a moment of silence for my lost, departed too soon original video with these stamp sets? I had created the video and edited it, and it was all ready to go, and I deleted it. I don't know what I was thinking. It was just one of those, accidents, and I did a little slow-mo no as it was deleting, but it was too late. It was gone. Gone. So this is my second video, and at the end of the video I will show you my 2 cards I created in the first video, which I love and wanted you to see, even though that video is no longer in this world. I decided to color the bunnies in different shades of gray. I used a darker gray for the bunny with the cup of coffee, and I used a lighter gray for the cute little bunny with his head tilted. He just looks so cute eating those cookies. I love that this little guy has a little cookie, because who doesn't love a little sweet treat with a cup of coffee? So in my mind, these 2 bunnies are sharing their goodies with each other and enjoying their company. I love the light gray of that little bunny. I wanted him to be like a very light gray or pink. No, not pink. I wanted him to be a very light gray or white bunny. And even though I added a shade of gray to him, I think next to the actual gray bunny, you can see that he is white. Because even if you want an image to be white, you still have to add a little shading. Otherwise, it's just going to look boring. I had the hardest time deciding what color to use for that coffee cup. As you can see, I started with some pinks. Then I used some beige to make it like a soft pink. And I was like, no, that's too soft. So then I was like, okay, how about an orange? And I used orange, and then I thought, that's too orange. So I went back to pink. I just could not make up my mind. But in the end, it's a bright, warm, happy color. And that's what I was going for. And once all the images were dry, I fussy cut them out and set them aside so I could start my backgrounds. I decided for the coffee card I was going to do a masked off ink blending background. I used Distress Oxide inks in Abandoned Coral, Picked Raspberry, and Dried Marigold. I just blended them together. I really love those colors together, and Distress Oxide inks are like So easy to blend. It did not take long at all. This was real time ink blending. Just kidding. It's not. It's sped up. But it felt that fast. Then I spritzed some water on the background and dabbed it up with a paper towel. And then I smushed the ink colors onto my craft mat and used a paintbrush to pick up the color and to flick onto my background just to add a little bit more texture. And I love how that looks. And I couldn't stop myself. So I even added some white acrylic paint and flicked it on the background as well. And then set that aside to dry so I could start the background of my second card. For the other background, I decided to use this background I had created before. It was a stencil from Create a Smile called Wave of Stars. And I had used white embossing paste, and it just didn't work out for that project at the time whenever I made that however long ago. So I decided to use it for this card. I was just showing you there that it has texture and that it's already done. And then I used Distress Oxide inks in Chipped Sapphire, Mermaid Lagoon, and Tumbled Glass, a little bit of black soot too there on the edge, and to create a night sky because I wanted one of my cards to be, you know, dreamy. And I really liked how this night sky came out, and that's it. It was super easy to come together. Like I said, the oxide inks on top of the embossing paste really add texture, and it's so easy to do. Oh, I did add some more water and white acrylic ink to the background because stars, and also can't stop myself. I die cut a little speech bubble and then added the same oxide ink colors to my speech bubble as the background of the night sky. And then I stamped the sentiment from Reading Buddies right in there for that little bear. And I love how that looks. I also heat embossed the phrase from Coffee Loving Critters onto a strip of black cardstock and then heat embossed it in white. And then I was ready to put my cards together. Yay! I added foam tape to all my images and sentiment areas and then attached it to my card. I, put the stacks of books on top of each other and then that little bear on top. And the speech bubble I thought was just so cute to continue to bring the card vertically. And I thought the sentiment really went with that starry little background. Oh yeah, the cloud dies I think are Lawn Fawn's border puffy cloud dies, and I die cut one in vellum and one in white cardstock just for to add a base to the card of that night sky. And then for my coffee card, I just created a little base for them with the sentiment strip, and that was easily put together. So these are my cards. I really love how they came out. I think they're so cute. I love the ink blending and how it just really sets the scene for these sweet, sweet images. And now I'll show you the first set of cards I made with these sets. I made a little wreath with the treats for my coffee card and did some ink blending in the background in greens and then added some white embossing paste dots in a circle over the wreath. I really love how that came out. And then the other card, I created some motion with the bunny. It looks like he's so excited with his book. He's just running along. He can't wait to read his book. Be sure to comment on both my video and Emily's video for a chance to win a gift certificate to Evelin T Designs. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks again. Bye.